and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a quick review of the new Sharon Callis quilling dies. Excuse me, it's Garden Florals. There's 6 in the whole set. I'm going to show you what they look like once they're cut out initially, and then what they're like once they've been put together. It's not a full-on tutorial today. It's just showing you a quick snippet as to how to use them and what they look like. So I'll go and get them all cut out and I'll see you. Right, so I've got them all cut out. I've I'll cut them all out in the same colour because I'm when we're just doing a review and showing you quickly what they look like when they're put together. So these are the 3 leaves. This is the lily, and these are the 3 different leaves that you get with it. This one's got a bud on as well, so you could always paper piece that and put that into a different colour matching whatever colour you're doing your lily. So in all of them you get the different leaves, and as well as the actual flower that you're wanting to do. And then this is quite a small one compared to some of the other ones. I'll just... oh, wrong way. There we go. So it's same as all the other Sharon Callis quilling dies that she does. You basically just have to fold them in half down the score line. Now, I know some people put a line of red liner tape down here just to make sure that it all stays together, or on this part here. I find it makes it too bulky. I still prefer to use a wet glue. It just takes a little bit longer for it to dry, but personally I'd rather have that movement of the wet glue than putting the red liner tape and then getting it in the wrong position and think, oh no, I can't use that one now because it's stuck. And that's it's a good thing about red liner tape, but the bad thing at the same time, because you just cannot get any leeway with it. Once it's stuck to something, it's stuck. So got it folded out, and as you can see they overlap like all the other ones do, and this is the middle of the flower. There, and then I'm just going to take my quilling tool and sort it on. And this is another thing, if you use the double-sided tape or the red liner tape on this part, you're not going to be able to get your quilling tool, the paper through the slot, because the slot's really, really thin. So if you add in any other thickness of layer, you're not going to be able to get it in and turn it properly, so you would have to use just a normal needle tool to quill them. But I prefer doing it this way. It just keeps them nice and steady. So that's the middle part, and then just carry on going. And now this is where the tape will come into play, because it'll be holding it as it's rolling up. But sometimes, as you can see, the petals, they can go quite straight, so when you put them out, when you put them all out, they're all going to be the same way. So I like to let them go a little bit once it comes off the quilling tool, and then just adjust it a little and then get it to a better position. Because if you look on the packet, the 6 petals are supposed to go in opposite directions, so you need to have that little bit of leeway for you to be able to adjust them. So I'm just going to loosen it up just a little. Because it's paper, you can always bend it as well, but you don't want to make it too tight, so you don't have that option, of being able to move it. I'm just using PVA today. You could use collal as well. I generally use just PVA when I'm doing quilling. So, and then you just shape your petals how you want them. You can use your finger, or you could use a bone folder. You could use a pencil to actually curve them around as well. There's lots of different things that you can use. You don't have to use all the fancy tools. You don't have to go out and buy lots of things. So, right, okay, so which one? That one must go around there, I think. So this is where I like to have that bit of movement, so I can position the petals how I want them to go. Just like that. Now these are really boring colours because I've just cut them out on just plain paper because they're just for samples, but you could ink these up, you could emboss them even. We're using embossing folders and things, then you'd have extra texture on your layers. There's lots of different things you could do. You could heat emboss them, have different coloured layers as well. So that's the lily. So they're really easy to use, and you just have to choose on how you're actually going to use them in whatever project that you're going to use. So that was quite nice. I think this leave's rather large for a lily myself, but it's what comes with the die anyway. So I'll put it to the side. The next one is the tea rose. So I'll add a little bit more for you. Now these leaves are a bit more the size that I'd think that they'd need to be to go with the die. So you get a 3-leaf bunch of 2, and then you just get a single leaf within this one. So got 4 in this one again. I think you actually get 4 in all of them, and I'll double check when we're going through. So this is a longer die than the lily one. So zoom in again now so you can see what I'm doing. So you've got that score line down the middle, so you want to just pinch along there, and it just all lines up, you can see. So I'm just going to give it a good burnish because then it's easier for you to quill. There we go. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in between here. You don't have to, it's just that extra little bit that I like to do when I'm doing these ones. I prefer using my own papers for using these, because I've had some of the paper pads that have come out with the dies when she's launched them, and I find the paper's really thick and difficult to work with. Not that they're a bad thing, it's just I can't get to them to work as well as what I can with just regular paper. So I suppose that's something I've got to work on. But so I've got that on now, and then so we're starting from, as you can see, they're different sizes. Got that one cut, never mind. So I'm going to start again with the smaller ones in the middle and then work up to the big ones. Because this one's a bit more staggered, it shouldn't need too much adjusting. So there we go. So that one's, as you can see, it's a bit more spaced out with the petals, so you don't need to let it unravel as much as what you do with the lily. Okay. And while you're holding it so that it's sticking, you can just be ruffling out the petals. Again, you can you know, bend them and curve them and dye them all the same, you know, as you can with any of the other ones. I mean, if you go by the picture what's on the front of the box, you've got a good idea of what they're supposed to look like. So because this one looks quite curled, you might be better off using something like a bone folder or just something round, you know, so you can get that more curved effect, so it goes to the size of the curve that you want it to be. Yes, that's a nice little rose. There's quite a few of the rose ones now that Sharon Callis has brought out. Got quite a few. Don't know which is my favourite. I'll have to have a look at all the different ones and maybe do a video on that. And which rose you prefer. So you just have to keep adjusting until you've got it exactly how you want. I'm not going to go too further because I'm just showing you what they come out like and how to use them. So that's the tea rose. The next one is the champagne rose. See, another rose, champagne rose. So you got your 3 leaf feathers again. You actually get 5 in this one. So you've got your different leaves. This is a bud, so it's got a leaf in your bud, so again you can paper piece that one. Then this is the, I forgot what it's called, the bit that's underneath the actual head of the flower, and that goes on underneath, and it's what you'll see at the top of the stem. It'll come to me eventually, but that's those ones. So again, same process. These petals are just quite rounded, whereas the tea rose was quite fluted compared to this one. If one or two of the petals comes off, don't worry about it, because you can always stick them back on at the end and nobody will be the wiser. Okay. So again, you just need to look at the picture what's on the actual package, you know, as to how to arrange the petals. But because they're staggered, they come out quite well without you having to do too much adjusting anyway. Again, that's another reason with the different thicknesses of paper, because if you were using like really thick paper, you wouldn't be able to move them around as much. Whereas these you've got that movability sort of to it because it's not that stiff. So yeah, I like this. This one's quite a full looking rose compared to the other ones. But you just have to keep doing it, like I've said, just adjust them how you want and ink them and get them arranged how you want. So yeah, you just have to keep on faffing, as I call it, my Yorkshire term. Faffing with it and getting it how you want it to look. Okay, so that's quite a, whoop, dropping it, quite a full looking rose. Right, so I've just realised that one of the ones that I showed you for the last rose, the champagne rose, this wasn't part of that one, so it is just for that one, because I said that there were 5 dies in that one, there's not, there's 4. This is actually part of the mountain peony, so I just wanted you to make sure that you knew where I've not lost the plot, that's just what they are. So mountain peony, this one, so same again, we'll just pop it together and then you can see the shaping of these petals is very similar to the champagne rose. They just seem to be smaller. You know, there's not a big of a head on them, and then the centre's just more like a bud sort of size. You can make lovely bouquets of these on, you know, on a card, or I've made one for a forever gardener. I'll have to do a video on it because I love getting bunches of flowers, but they never last, and I think it's such a shame when they're so beautiful and they end up dying. So it was with the succulents range of Sharon Callis, and I did a window box with all the different succulents in it and put crystals in, and it looked really nice, and I had it on my kitchen windowsill, and it lasts a heck of a lot longer. So I'll have to do a video on that. Right, so we've got ours. Went a little bit, I think I came out too far. Okay, so these are our smaller ones, so this is where we're going to start. Because this is a quite full flower again, the petals are spaced out well, but while you're holding it in place you can just keep doing what we've been doing on the other ones. These are very pretty, these little flowers. Notice that the edge part here is a bit more ruffled compared to the champagne rose petal, but the inside ones, they're a bit pointed, but they're not as ruffled as what the outside ones are. Those are really, really pretty. I like them ones. I think that's my favourite one so far. The next one is the Orchid. Now orchids are the one type of flower that I can actually keep and they don't die because they just keep coming back, and I love orchids. So these ones would be even better because they never die. But yeah, so again you're getting your, well, you get 2 leaves and then you get a bud strand, because your orchids, you keep coming back, one will die off and then you get new ones like this. And then I really like orchids because they just keep coming back and they don't need much maintenance, so I think that's probably why I can keep them going. So yeah, that's that one. So I'll just put these to the side so you can see this one better. So as you can see, this one's got quite big leaves, and again just keep an eye on what it says, shows you on the packages to the positioning of them. See, this looks slightly different to what orchids I've had before, so it's probably a lot different variation to what I'm used to, but it looks very pretty anyway. The good thing about making these is that you can have them whatever colour you want. You're not stuck to what you find in the shops. This is what I love about paper dyes as well. It gives you that option to make your own in whatever colourway you want, whatever medium you want it to come in. And then all you need to do is just keep getting your paper supplies, then you've got these forever. Like I say, if you're making a bouquet of these, they'll last a lot longer than any that you buy from the shop. Again, depending on how wide of a span you want it on your flower, it's whether how loose you let it go. But I think that's quite. So looking at the package, you've got to sort of curve these round each other. Just make sure that they overlap. There you go. Obviously every flower in the wild's not going to be exactly the same, they're all different. So each one can be unique. So that's the orchid. Right, so the last one is the ranunculus. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. So again, you get 2 leaves and then the part that goes underneath the flower. I still can't remember what it's called. I'll remember after I've finished. But yeah, you get your 2 different sizes and that part from underneath. And then this has got quite large petals compared to the other ones, and they're quite oval. But we'll see what they turn out like when we put them together. When you are doing this, if you're just using your nail to sort of break down the fibres of the paper, it just sort of starts getting them to realise that you wanted them to go in a different. Right, so this one's got a little bit more difficult towards it gets to the end, because obviously the leaves are wider, so it's not leaving you as much room to turn it as the other ones, but I suppose that's how the petals are on the flower, but you can work around it. The thing I love about these dies is that they make it look like you've done a lot more work than you actually have. And they're particularly good for if you're just starting out with quilling, you know, so it gives you an idea of the process and how you make your petals when you're making your own individual flowers. If you were, you know, not doing this type, you were just you know, making each individual petal and then putting your flowers together. It just gives you some idea of how to do those, but these are just quick and easy for if you're wanting quick cards, or you want that wow factor, you want a 3D element for your cards, but you're not the biggest quilling fan, but you like the look of it. These are particularly good, I think, for doing that. And then you just keep adjusting it how you want it. So that's all of them. So I'll go through from the beginning again, just giving you a quick look at what they are. Try to keep them all in how we've done them. So that is the lily. It's very pretty. There's not many petals to that one, but that is very, very pretty. I do like that one. And then the next one was the tea rose. So I think that's probably called a tea rose because the shape of the petal, if you look at it really, it's wide at the top and then goes down at the bottom, a bit like a tea does. So that may be why it's called that. But I may be wrong, but that's why I think there is anyway. And then the next one is the champagne rose, which is the more rounded of the petals. Obviously you curl them and put them however you're wanting them to be, but that's a more full looking rose to me. And then the next one was the mountain peony, which seems a bit more like a dainty version of the champagne rose, but the outer petals are a bit more ruffled. So you can see just got that really fine edge work on them. And then we've got the orchid with the bigger petals that you just have to manipulate to where you want them to go. And then the last one is the ranunculus, which seems very much like the champagne rose but on a larger scale. So I'll put them next to each other. So if you look, they're very, very similar. This has just got large petals on it. So you could use that one as a a smaller flower and put them together to, on your projects that you've got different sizes of things. So I hope that's given you an opportunity to have a look at the range and decide whether if you want to purchase them or if you've already got them and how to put them together. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments, and if you've enjoyed this video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.